Now at 6, the price of eggs climbs in the 4 states. We'll hear from a local restaurant on the impact. Plus, Kansas gears up for a new legislative session as Governor Kelly begins her second term, and the next step in renovations for Pittsburgh's Colonial Fox Theater.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A suspect who claimed jealousy played a role in the murder of an Ottawa County, Oklahoma woman enters a plea agreement in federal court. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Jimmy Kelly Jr. pleads guilty to second-degree murder and felon possession of a firearm. It's in connection with the death of 47-year-old Tony Elizabeth Moran. According to court documents, Kelly told authorities that he and Moran were in a relationship together and that his wife became jealous. Kelly claimed Moran took a revolver to her head and shot herself, and he told investigators he was so upset that he then took the gun and shot her in the torso. Kelly could be sentenced to 20 to 30 years. For a full breakdown of the events and court documents, download the KOAM News Now app. The price of eggs has been especially high in the new year and is impacting local businesses. KOAM's Carrie Worthen talks with a local restaurant and resident about the issue.
New Year's, everyone starts.
Apparently we're having some technical problems with that report. We'll see if we can have that for you a little bit later in this broadcast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a warm one for us today. Temperatures, they made it all the way up into the mid 60s for highs. Right now, we're still sitting upper 50s to lower 60s across the region. So it's actually fairly comfortable if you go outside. Now the winds are going to start to pick up just a little bit as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow, and then especially by tomorrow night with our next storm system, which is going to be rotating in. We do have a lot of clouds, nothing underneath the clouds. We're going to stay dry throughout the evening hours into most of the day tomorrow, but we do have a developing storm system out to our west, which will start to affect us. So through the evening into the overnight, we drop back through the 40s. A little bit on the chilly side, but still fairly warm once again for us tomorrow. Rain chances in the forecast, winds pick up, turning colder later this week. Another system next Monday. We'll break it all down for you here in just a bit.
See you soon. We now have that report from Carrie Worthen about the local impact of the rising cost of eggs.
Around New Year's, everyone started wanting eggs. There was a big increase.
People are scrambling to their local residents who are raising their own chickens so they can get eggs. According to the USDA, the wholesale price for a dozen eggs rose up to 60 cents. That's before any markup at the grocery store. Experts say that the price increase stems from the avian flu cases in the United States. While there are no cases reported in this area, people are still feeling the effects of the price hike.
The eggs has gone about 3 to 4 times more than they was a year ago.
Local restaurants like Wetson's Route 66 Cafe in Baxter Springs orders 8
Within
cases
the last
of
2
eggs
weeks,
a week
I've sold
with
12
15
dozen
eggs in each case. Owner Susan Weston said she had to raise her menu prices to help gap the price range.
They have affected us some, and we have raised our prices, and that has taken care of most of it.
Carl Junction resident Tiffany Wheeler says with the cold weather, her chickens lay around 6 eggs a day, and there is a waiting list of 15 people already wanting to purchase eggs.
Started with about 6 here, and then we've got around 40.
Frizzles are my favorite. I know. They're so frizzly.
So whether you eat your eggs scrambled, fried, poached, or hard-boiled, the USDA officials say recent record-high egg prices shall soften. But it will take some time before this is reflected at your local grocery store. In Carl Junction, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
You can find a link to a USDA report on egg prices at KOAMnewsnow.com. Former White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders was sworn in as Arkansas's 47th governor today. Sanders took the oath of office in the State House of Representatives, then gave her inaugural address on the state capitol steps. During her remarks, she promised to dedicate her time to the people of Arkansas and lauded the democratic process that elected her.
Every day for the next 4 years, I will devote every ounce of my energy and every piece of my heart to making Arkansas the greatest state in America. So help me God.
Governor Sanders defeated Democrat Chris Jones in the gubernatorial race in November. She'll become the first woman to lead that state and the highest profile Trump administration official in elected office. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today announced on Twitter she tested positive for COVID. This comes after the governor officially began her second term yesterday afternoon as she took the oath of office. It was a day filled with ceremony to begin the 2023 legislative session. Lawmakers striking a tone of working together and improving Kansas as many issues will be debated in the weeks and months to come. Sean Logan was at the State House as elected leaders were sworn in.
The air in Topeka filled with a celebratory vibe.
Thank you for attending today's inauguration ceremony for the 48th governor of the great state of Kansas.
The south lawn of the Kansas Capitol filled with people to see the swearing in of new and returning state elected officials.
To celebrate Kansas and freedom and really pay attention to what the governor's going to say, because she has these three great banners behind her. It says innovation, prosperity, unity. And I think that's what's going to move Kansas forward.
And much of the focus of this day is on Democratic Governor Laura Kelly beginning her second term.
She deserved a second term. It's just common sense. So I'm here to celebrate common sense.
Governor Kelly used her inaugural address.
Hello, Kansas. I'm back.
To set Kansas apart from the hostilities seen in national politics and calling for unity and civility.
The middle of the road is where left and right come together, where well-intentioned people who hold different positions find common ground. Nobody gets everything they want. Everybody gets something they want.
It was a similar tone in the Kansas House, where not just a new term is starting, but new leadership is taking over. Republicans hold a supermajority in both the Kansas House and Senate.
We will work across the aisle when we can. We will disagree strongly but respectfully when we must. But in the end, our focus will be on serious, long-term solutions for our constituents.
Republican Dan Hawkins becomes the new speaker and will have a major hand in shaping the priorities and legislation for the next 2 years.
Now let's get to work.
Following the governor's COVID diagnosis, Kelly said she's working from home with minor symptoms. She said she'll now give her State of the State address on January 24th. Conservative Kansas legislators are pushing back harder on LGBTQ rights issues with a bill to ban gender-affirming care for transgender youth and plans to pursue limits on what's taught about gender and sexuality in public schools. The moves in the Republican-controlled legislature come after the Democratic governor, Laura Kelly, narrowly won re-election despite repeated GOP attacks on her for vetoing measures restricting transgender athletes. Still ahead, a group in Pittsburgh looks to breathe new life into downtown with the next step in renovations of the Colonial Fox Theater. Plus, the Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes looks ahead to the team's playoffs game in less than 2 weeks. The next step in renovations for Pittsburgh's old Colonial Fox Theater is making sure the building meets all ADA standards. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to the Board of Trustees of the theater about how restoring it can also restore downtown.
Established in 1920, the Colonial Fox Theater was the heart of downtown Pittsburgh.
It was a social hub for the community, and it was also a movie palace, which means that it was not only for movies, but also for stage, vaudeville, live productions as well.
The theater closed its doors in 1987. By 2006, locals created the Colonial Fox Theater Foundation to not only save it, but try and spark life back into downtown Pittsburgh.
We have spent years getting it dried in, sound, sturdy. I'm up to code in the sense of, we're not in any kind of bad shape anymore. When we first got it, it was a real mess.
The Colonial Fox Theater says every great community deserves a great downtown. That's why after years of work and renovations, they pride themselves on being one of the contributing factors on what makes downtown Pittsburgh so great.
We saved this from the wrecking ball. And we helped kickstart Block 22. So it was really the Colonial Fox that, really started the whole downtown excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't toot their own horn very often.
Planned renovations for the theater have experienced setbacks.
Well, as with anything, I think that with setbacks are time and money. Volunteers who have the time.
Did not help.
The pandemic put us back a couple years for sure.
Despite setbacks, trustees say the future is bright.
I mean, we can involve the entire city of Pittsburgh. We don't want to just use this venue just for us. We can include Memorial Auditorium, the Bicknell, and have huge citywide festivals. So when we get to talking about it, we get excited, and we really do have a working program.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Board of Trustees plans to make use of the empty lot north of the theater and to make the entrance and exit more accessible. A little bit later, we're going to hear from the Georgia Bulldogs as they look back to their dominant win against TCU in the national championship.
Plus, we have some additional rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. A lot of clouds, but our temperature is fantastic. Most of us 60 to 65 degrees across the region, which, hey, we'll definitely take. Also a lot of clouds, but overall, it's turned out to be a very nice afternoon and evening. The winds aren't very strong, but those are going to start to pick up as we go through the next 48 hours. Look at our temps. 63 in Anderson, 62 in Grove. We have 58 Bonita, 54 in Chanute. Lamar at 54, Monette is sitting at 53, so very mild for this time of the year. Southerly winds at about 5 to 10, kind of helping those temperatures warm up just a bit. Looks good. Here's 7th, here's range line, 59, southerly winds 5 to 10, humidity is at 41%. Through the overnight hours, we slide back into the lower 40s. We are going to have a lot of clouds across the region, which you can see right now on our satellite and radar composite, but nothing really underneath the clouds. So we're going to stay dry as we go through the evening hours. But these are a lot of mid and upper level clouds. These are going to stick around tonight. These are going to stick around tomorrow in advance of our next storm system out across parts of California, Las Vegas, up towards Salt Lake City. It's not a big system, but it will change our weather up just a bit as we go through the next couple days. All right, let's step through time. I'm going to stop at midnight. Still a lot of clouds, upper 40s to near 50. We drop back lower 40s by morning. We warm quickly through the 50s to near 60 by noon. And once we get into the afternoon, northern counties near 60, southern half probably 65 degrees, 66 in Bentonville, 62 in Parsons, Nevada about 60. Now you see these showers popping up. These are most likely going to be there. I just don't think they're going to reach the ground, so I think we'll stay dry as we go through the day. Here's your day planner for you, starting 42, 56 by noon, 64 as we get into the afternoon. Again, a lot of clouds, south winds 5 to 10. I think any showers that we would see is mainly going to be after midnight, especially on the Missouri side. Very light, not much action on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. And then as we get into Thursday morning, you can see a band of snow to our north. So this could clip our northern counties, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, maybe even Lamar, a little rain snow mix. Doesn't look like a big deal right now. Just showers, southwest Missouri, again, Kansas and Oklahoma, not much action. All this is gone by mid-morning on Thursday. A little bit of sunshine pops back out late Thursday. Now the winds are going to really pick up. Tonight, not bad. Tomorrow, not bad. But they really increase once that cold front slides through. We're going to have gusts 30, upwards to 40 Thursday morning, and then they'll start to calm back down as we get into Thursday afternoon. Besides that, we cool down as we head into the weekend. Still a lot of clouds over the weekend, but our next bigger storm system looks like widespread rain, or at least better chances for widespread rain, rolls in Sunday night and into Monday morning. 65 tomorrow, 42 on Thursday. Quite a bit cooler, 42 Friday. Warming back up over the weekend. There's rain chances Monday and then again next Wednesday and Thursday. But over the next 10 days, temperatures more March-ish than January-ish.
Yes, and you throw in the rain, it makes it seem even more like
yeah, we
spring.
can use a little rain.
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Carthage boys host the Joplin Eagles tonight in their COC League opener. And the Georgia Bulldogs made history in last night's national championship game against TCU. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Well, the Carthage Tigers are at home tonight, kicking off COC League play against the Joplin Eagles. The Carthage is on a roll right now, entering the night on a 4-game winning streak. The Carthage 7-5 overall this season. On the other side, Joplin 7-4. That game will get started at about 7:30 in Carthage. We'll have highlights from the game right here tonight at 10. We'll also have highlights from this one, the Webb City boys at home against Neosho this evening in their COC opener. Webb City on an 8-game winning streak, coming off a Kaminsky Classic Championship in Joplin, and that one is also scheduled for 7:30. Well, the Georgia Bulldogs won their second straight football national championship last night. Georgia beat TCU in the title game 65-7 Monday in the biggest national championship blowout in college football history. And Georgia is now the first team in the college football playoff era to win back-to-back titles. They're just the 4th team to be national champs in back-to-back years since 1990. Now, in that game last night, Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett was outstanding. He accounted for 6 total touchdowns, throwing for 4 and rushing for 2 more.
Stetson speaks for himself. The way he leads, the way he prepares, his mental makeup is such of a quarterback that believes he can make every throw, and what he did tonight was truly amazing. I mean, probably had his best game of his career, in my opinion, with some of the checks he made, some of the decisions he made, just really elite.
This week is the first week of the playoffs in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs have a bye to begin the postseason after earning the number 1 seed in the AFC with a 14-3 overall record. And because they're the 1 seed, the Chiefs will face the lowest seeded team remaining after round 1 this weekend. Now, whoever it is they play, gonna have the odds stacked against them. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is 21-3 all-time following a week off.
He has a great balance of the amount of time he gives guys off and the amount he gets guys in there to get them moving and prepare for that next week. And then obviously the coaches do a great job of game planning. I'm sure this week they'll game plan like 3 or 4 different teams and try to get a good game plan to the guys early in the week so they can execute it at a high level. And then he goes out there and we do what we usually do, man. And so he just has a great feel for the amount of time he gives guys off and the amount of time he has them in the building.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Robert Pickerson served in the U.S. Army from 1945 to 1947. The El Dorado, Kansas native served in the 1st Division 16th Infantry in Germany and was awarded the World War II Victory Medal and Army of Occupation of Germany Medal. And we are proud to salute Robert Pickerson, our 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to learn about a woman in Joplin who's made a business out of running errands for people. Plus, President Biden wraps up his visit to Mexico for the North American Leaders Summit and what a new report shows about the rate at which the world's glaciers are disappearing. Those stories and a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Temps around here at the moment, at least, very mild.
Yeah, it looks pretty good across the region. Back into the mid-60s for highs tomorrow. A lot of clouds. The winds really pick up on Thursday. We're going to have a light rain-snow mix in the morning, but most of the day is going to be dry. And then cooling down a bit Friday and Saturday, warming back up by Sunday.
Final sports note.
The Don Hanson Football Committee put out its All-America teams today. 6 Pittsburgh State players earned All-America honors this afternoon. 1 from Missouri Southern, Nick Williams, kicker/punter. So congratulations to all those guys.
You bet. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.